Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's the only place to track and keep yourself accountable by looking at all of the essential numbers, from buyer appointments, market appraisals and listing appointments, to listings, sales and income, and working in 45-minute sessions. You'll find it all on Josh Phegan Digital. Welcome to High Performance, featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, one of the great conversations of all time is about really defining your marketplace. And Alex, I get a lot of agents who come out to me and they say, hey Josh, I want to go after 5,000 homes, or I want to be in a position that I want to go after this particular market because it looks really good, or I want to go after this particular market because this is what my agency has given me. How do you go to define a market? What are the things that Alexander Phillips would look at? If we were starting you again today and we were going to put you in a completely different market like Melbourne or Brisbane, how would you define the market that you would go after, and what would you do to do with that?
Josh, I hear this all the time from agents that want to go into certain markets because I want to sell big houses or particular price points. I think firstly you've got to work out which market you can actually relate to. If I was my 20-year-old agent again, I would go back to what I started out with, selling $300,000 units in Birriga Road, Bellevue Hill, or Ocean Street, Wallara, or whatever it is, and then build the momentum from there. You sort of have to work out a marketplace that you're going to relate to, but also you're going to want to work in, but also allows you to grow throughout. A lot of agents probably corner themselves into marketplaces that aren't right for them, and they can't relate to the demographic. I'm lucky to have sort of been able to relate to all the demographics of people that I work with, and there are definitely markets in the eastern suburbs that I don't relate to, and therefore there's no point me trying to battle away and secure listings in that marketplace.
One of the big things I always had to look at was that let's have a look at the transactional volume. How many properties actually tend to sell there over a longer period of time? And the benefit of that is if I get a small percentage of that market share when there's a large number of properties, that's a huge opportunity for me, because obviously I'm always going to make sure that it's going to continue to go. But Alex, you've tended to choose markets that have been really good regardless of market cycles of the day. And we go to call it the Golden Triangle of Sydney. If you're starting to think of anything from, call it Paddington, all the way out to Bondi Beach, all the way back into Bronte and in surrounds, there's actually about this natural progression of the client. Now, you tell the great story of people that literally you did your first transaction on with an apartment with them in Bondi. You've now sold them a beautiful property in Bronte over the years. How important is it for an agent to grow up with the client base over their years, so that they just don't view it as one transaction, but multiple transactions that you could do with that client over the next 10, 20 years?
You could end up selling. Some of our clients have sold 10, 15 properties. You've gone through the whole journey with them. So, and then you're selling for their kids and then their family, and it's just the flow-on effect that you get from it. So, that's why I look at, those younger people starting out, start at lower price points, build, throughout the price points. You're not going to sell houses. You're not going to compete against lead agents. Start at a marketplace that, you're going to be able to then flourish in, and then look at the opportunities that you get out of it.
And we go to call it like the lifetime value of a customer, right? Someone buys their first property, maybe they buy an investment property, maybe they couple up with a partner, they buy their first family home, maybe they buy another investment property, maybe over time they actually go and buy another family home, and then after that maybe they buy something to downsize into. So we're looking at maybe 6 transactions per person inside of your database. And if that's go and call it 20 grand, you start thinking about that. Okay, great. Geez, that's kind of interesting, because now all of a sudden that could be over $120,000 in value. And then if in every transaction they refer you to just one extra, that's another 120 grand. So every single time I look at a client, I'm thinking maybe that's $250,000 worth of revenue that could be generated after serving that one client really well. How important is it for agents to start to think about the lifetime value and the referability, so that when the buyer buys from you, you don't leave them at the sold sticker, but they actually have the ability to generate your referrals for the rest of your career?
That's where you're going to just continually build your own personal database, I suppose. But also, it's like, the way I look at it is those past clients are like your sales force. They're the ones out there talking about your dinner parties, when they're at the barbecues. They're the ones saying that you're selling, give Alex a call. We use him. He's great. So we get a lot of traction out of that. Because we've got our sales team out there talking about it. It's a most important part of real estate.
And that's that age-old story that one customer served really well leads you to many more customers down the track.